Hey everybody, it's Andy Petronic, and I'm going to be looking at notes today because this is a longer video, and I want to keep myself on track. I can easily go down rabbit holes and wormholes, and so I'm going to try to keep myself on track as best I can. So please bear with me as I'm looking at the notes that I took. So here's what I titled this: Why Top Performers Still Feel Empty Even After Winning. Now, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. If you look at my life on the outside, I have been winning my whole life, over and over and over again. Winning and winning and winning. I mean, it started when I was a little kid and I learned to play the trumpet. I was playing in middle school band when I was in like 4th grade, and then high school band when I was in 6th grade. And I was first chair trumpet player when I was in 9th grade in my high school band and soloist. And I ended up going to the Eastman School of Music for the trumpet. And then I went into the Marine Corps and became a Marine. And then I went into adventure racing and did the first ever Eco Challenge. And I didn't win. But just getting to the starting line of that was unbelievable. And then I went to the CrossFit Games. And then, whitewater kayak, like all these things. And winning and businesses and entrepreneurship and consulting practices and an online game called the Whole Life Challenge. And I didn't know how empty I was because I kept chasing the accolades. And then when it all came crashing down, I had nothing. And it wasn't kind of devastating. It was devastating. And I still experience the withdrawals from that. It's only been 5 years, 5.5 years. And, what I wrote down was, you've built the businesses, you've made the money, you've achieved the status, and yet something feels off. For me, it didn't feel off until it all came falling apart. But one of the things that kept me going in this cycle was just get to my next goal. I never looked back. I only looked forward. And my happiness came from my next achievement, always. You get to how the horizon never gets closer? You get to the horizon and guess what? It's still the same distance it was away when you started. And I never looked back and said, oh, wow, look what you've done. I was on the bandwagon of efficiency and productivity and self-development. And if I could just optimize this a little bit more, if I could just biohack that a little bit more, and I wasn't really a biohacker, but you get what I'm talking about. And then it became about money. Boy, if I could just keep up with everyone. I live in Los Angeles, so that's a tall order, keeping up with everyone here. If I could just have a little bit better car, bigger house, take nicer vacations, have more freedom in my life. Man, it's painful. The goalposts never stop moving. And it's painful when it gets exhausting. I can feel it in my heart now in just talking about it. I've worked with hundreds of high-performing entrepreneurs, athletes, executives who've reached the summits they've been striving for, and yet, why isn't it ever enough? It's never enough. And then they get to the top and they think, is this it? Couldn't be it. I need the next thing. What? How much more do you need? The first 5 million wasn't enough? Like you have enough to live on, like really comfortably for a long time? Oh yeah, but I want to be able to fly in jets. What? I'm going to break down some of the psychological mechanisms that create this. And then more importantly, how to transform it. So let's get into it. Number 1, the achievement trap. Why success never feels like enough. I've already gone into this a little bit. It's a hedonic treadmill. It's real. Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. It's real. Your brain normalizes success really fast. The dopamine hit that you get from the achievement, the medal that, Napoleon said, if I had enough medals, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something about like I could control the world with enough medals, just giving people medals and keep giving them away. They don't last very long. So you got to give somebody another medal and then another medal. It's incredible how fast your baseline happiness returns to where it was after that bump. Another thing is success. It creates a false promise. You think to yourself, I'll be happy when. I'll be fulfilled when my bank account hits this number. That's when I'll feel like it will happen. And it's never true. The high of accomplishment gets confused with long-lasting fulfillment. Every achievement, it creates a temporary change, not one that lasts. And we have a very difficult time as human beings seeing past our own nose. I was going to say long-term vision, like more than 6 months. But how about 3 weeks? We can't see past 3 weeks. The vision we need to be able to see 5 years. Like stay on track for 5 years. Whoa. We got to keep bumping. Another thing, the comparison trap. It intensifies. I mean, I'm in it now. I'm 58 years old and we're becoming empty nesters. And I'm looking around at my friends who've made a crap load of money and are in a position where they can they're not retiring, but they're traveling and they're doing all these nice things. I'm feeling it. I got to take a breath and go, you chose this life. The first 20 years, my philosophy used to be after college, and then when I was in the Marine Corps, like, this is my time to be quote unquote retired and have fun and adventure and travel around the world and see things when I had my physical body. And now I still have my physical body, but I was young and able to enjoy it. And then you're going to go to work. And so that's I forget that now, but that's what I'm doing, which I love, by the way. I'm going to move into the next point now. There's an inner conflict that creates emptiness, and that's the performance identity versus the authentic self. I've had the performance identity my whole life. It's what I've been doing. My okayness comes from what I perceive other people are thinking about me. If they think I'm cool, I'm cool. If they think what I'm doing is cool, if I fit into their club and I can hang out with the cool people and they accept me, relief, I'm okay. But the moment I get around another group that looks at the group that I was in as not so cool, then I've got to chameleon myself and change into something else. High achievers, they develop a performance-based identity. You're hearing me talk about it. Your worth becomes tied to what you produce, not who you are. Creates an exhausting double life. The public face versus the private doubts, the constant fear of being found out. Oh my God. Another thing, a strategy that creates this emptiness is compartmentalization. There's a cost to that. Shutting down the internal emotions. I remember when I first worked with my first coach, she goes, this was 25 years ago. She said, Andy, you need to be in our next session or the next session after that or sometime in the future. You just need to cry. I had been a Marine like 4 years prior. I'm like, lady, what are you talking about? Real men don't cry. Marines don't cry. I don't need to cry. Within 4 sessions, I was a sniveling mess on the floor of her office. Or it wasn't her office, it was her home. It was for the whole session. And I have been a crier ever since. Now, it's the further along I get and the more open I get and the more loving and compassion I have for myself I get, the more I cry. I was taking a martial arts class today at the beginning in the meditation for 1 minute. So you learn to shut that down when you're in this mindset. Physical symptoms can start appearing. Sleep problems, chronic tension, digestive issues, emotional numbness. You ever been accused of emotional numbness by your spouse? I better keep going because otherwise this video is going to go on forever. Then there's a spiritual void. Material achievement, it doesn't answer your deeper, bigger questions. I promise you that. The new car, not going to answer your deeper questions about the meaning of life and your purpose here. And success without meaning, it creates an existential emptiness. That hunger cannot be satisfied with your status. You know, the successful CEO has everything but still feels something's missing. I mean, that was me. Probably some of you listening to this right now. Relationships, they become transactional. I mean, It's embarrassing. I think about my relationships, the ones that my friends would say I was great friends. And look, it doesn't mean that there's no real relationship happening, but man, my context to my relationships was all about transaction. What was I getting? Achievement. What were they feeling, experiencing because of my ability to fit in or prove to them that I was enough? It's a big one for me. You feel surrounded by people, but you feel fundamentally alone. I can't really read that without getting emotional, because that was me. That's been me most of my life. The third thing, we had the achievement trap, the inner conflict, and now the courage to look inward. Creating meaning and purpose from the inside out as opposed to from the outside in. Everybody's living from the outside in. We want to move from external validation to internal metrics, creating a personal definition of enough, building success criteria beyond the balance sheet and what's in your bank account. You know, how present am I with my family? How present am I with myself? How connected do I feel to myself? Am I aligned with my values? Am I living my life in accordance with my values? Am I present in my life? Then there's the paradox of vulnerability as strength. And that's a paradox because most people think vulnerability is a weakness. Don't expose your belly. Don't expose your weak parts. Exposing your weak parts takes practice. It takes trust. It takes trusting that you're going to be okay. That if somebody judges you or not, it's okay. It's about the way you create yourself on the inside. Learning to lead from wholeness rather than from perfection. Dropping the mask. Then there's developing emotional intelligence. This is part of the courage to look inward. I have to go back to what I wrote because I can't remember what the topic is. Developing emotional intelligence. Moving out of your head, logical, and into your heart. Feeling. The center of your system. It's not your head. It's your heart. The heart was designed and meant to lead. You still got to think. It's supposed to help. Your gut is there, your intuition is there to help, but the heart should lead. And right now we live in a world that the head is leading. So developing emotional intelligence, creating safety to feel the full spectrum of emotions, learning more than just like 5 basic emotions, like happy, sad, surprised, upset, afraid. Do you have a bigger vocabulary around emotions? And then learning to become comfortable with your discomfort. And the last one I have here that is about the courage to look inward is building meaning beyond the things that are measurable. You know, creating a legacy that transcends financial success. Why is it all about money? I want to leave a big amount of money to my kids, like generational wealth. How many times have you heard that? Really? How many people do you know that receive generational wealth from their parents and have the most fucked up lives? Because guess what? That amount of money fucks you up. You don't have to go out and earn and work for it and create purpose in your own life. What impact do you want to have? Who do you want to become? What would make your life meaningful looking back at 90? I'll tell you something, it's not just money. All right, so let's talk about some practical things. So the first one is really about becoming more conscious and creating space, right? I mean, the world is speeding up. This is an opportunity to slow down. A rebellion. You want to be rebellious? Be rebellious by not taking the bait to go faster. That's one of the things that helped me really start my meditation practice. Like, oh, this is an act of rebellion. How cool. Creating that structured space. Structure helps. Systems help. Strategic rest. Naps are really great. Building a relationship with stillness. Tech-free time. Time when you don't take your phone, not even turn it upside down, just not even with you. Immersion in nature. And then there's moving out of isolation and into deep connection, which means learning how to share your truth with other people, with vulnerability. Creating relationships that are based on authenticity. Building community around values and not just success. Practicing truth-telling with groups. I coach groups. And why? Because you need other people to make this work. We are social creatures. Learning how to ask for help, learning how to ask for support, learning how to give support, being able to receive and being able to give, learning how to be seen, letting people see you. Struggle. Where you struggle. We all struggle. so that you can show up fully in key relationships. But this is all about practice. Trust me, I've been doing this work for, it's coming on 30 years. Wow. In 2026, it'll be 30 years. It doesn't mean it's going to take you that long. I was a slow learner. I had built up a lot of stuff that I needed to get through. Okay, the next one. From external metrics to inner alignment. Don't let other people tell you what the metrics are supposed to be. Developing your own internal guidance system. Making decisions from values. Do you know what your values are? How are you living? What are the values that you are conscious of moving your life toward? Is integrity one? Is trustworthiness one? Is kindness, empathy, discipline? What are you? What are your top 10? Are you living into those? And are you making decisions from your values, or are you making decisions based on expectations or desires for outcomes? Look, living deliberately rather than reactively, which means having a plan, which means having a mission statement, which means having non-negotiable boundaries, regular check-ins, and then the last one, from scarcity to abundance. We're hooked into this idea that we need more. If you're in abundance, do you need more? Or are you coming from scarcity if you're in abundance? You've got to break free from that. One of the ways to do that is with a really solid gratitude practice, finding it authentically inside, not just going through the motions. Daily appreciation and rituals around that, building a ritual around that, celebrating other people's success. Because God forbid they succeed and you don't, because you think life is a competition, and if they get ahead and you lose. No, this all takes practice, guys. So I'm telling you all these things. There's a lot in this video. Take a couple, work on them, embody them. Generosity is a fulfillment practice. I mean, look, it's time to finish this up because I've been going for a while. The most profound, I'm going to read some of this. The most profound shift happens when you realize success isn't something you chase, but something you embody through alignment, presence, and purpose. I've walked this journey myself, from leading Marines to building multi-million-dollar businesses, like I said before, to eventually facing the emptiness. If you're resonating with this, you're at a very crucial inflection point. The moment of questioning is not a sign of failure. It's an invitation to something deeper, more integrated. You're waking up like I started 30 years ago. If you're ready to explore what's on the other side of achievement, I've created a special masterclass on transforming high performance into deep fulfillment. Check the link in the description to join me for a profound exploration of what it means to succeed on your own terms. This isn't about abandoning ambition. It's about infusing ambition with meaning. Drop a comment below. Tell me where you are. And if this message resonated, subscribe. Tell someone else that you think needs this message to check it out. Join. Come look at my channel. Come look at what I talk about. I'm going to be talking a lot more on elevated leadership, consciousness, success, waking up. Remember, the most powerful question isn't what more can I achieve, but who am I becoming in the process? All right, wrapping it up. See you in the next video.